Welcome to the Cast Blast Grill Chill podcast with Jeremy and Trevor, the podcast that's all about hunting, fishing, grilling, and chilling out and having a good time in the outdoors. Jeremy here with Cast Blast Grill Chill. Please do us a solid and subscribe to the podcast and tell a friend if you like what you hear. Also, I've got some pretty big plans in the work this season for the podcast. I'm going to try and go weekly and keep you up to date with what's been going on and have some interesting guests on. Also, we are looking for feedback, so hit me up on Facebook or Instagram or in our Facebook page and let us know what you like, what you don't like, and if there's someone you want to have on. And I'll do my best to hook you up with a little Cast Blast Grill Chill swag for the feedback and for taking the time. Thanks. And we're back, guys. It's glad to be back sitting here recording a podcast with my co-host Trevor. It's been a long, hot summer. We took a little time off for the end of summer vacation, but we were officially a week and a day away from hunting season again. Trevor, how you been, sir?
Good, man. Felt good to get out of Texas for a little while. Just got back from Chicago. Yeah, it was good. There's a lot cooler up there.
Okay, but overall, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate Chicago?
Is there negative numbers on the scale?
Well, you can rate it however you want. The scale goes from 1 to 10.
Well, then -5. I hated Chicago. I'm not a city person, but it did feel better there. So it gets bumped up from maybe a -7 to a -5 because the weather was pretty decent.
There you go. Did you go by and check out the Great Lakes and stuff? I know you went to a game at Wrigley, and you had some of that Chicago deep dish pizza while you're up there.
Yeah, man. I don't know about all the pizza hype and the hot dog hype and the steak hype, but we did go. I got to put eyes on Lake Michigan, saw some Canadas up there, and yeah, so that was kind of cool to me. I was like, hey, I'm at Lake Michigan and I'm seeing Canada geese. Like, this is kind of crazy. But yeah, got my eyes on it. Took a little boat tour through the Chicago River from the mouth where the river dumps in there to the Great Lake, and yeah, man, that was probably the best part for me.
Okay, now there was a comment the person running the boat tour, somebody told you about something about fishing or something about the Chicago River.
Yeah, you can't even fish in said river. He said, what was it? Oh, it was you can't. We're wanting to have the Chicago River able to swim and fish in by 2030.
Good job, Chicago. Good job.
And that's like an optimistic like they're like, yeah, that's like best case scenario, 2030 it'll be clean enough.
Yeah.
Like, what? I wonder what kind of weird stuff you catch out of there though.
Man, I don't know anything about Yankee fish. I know that they have they got steelhead in some of the Great Lakes, and I know they got big lake trout, and I think there's like all kinds of other types of, fish that we don't generally have up here. I know they probably have walleyes and smallmouth bass and
yeah, they got pike, walleye, lake trout, all that good stuff. But yeah, so speaking of lake trout, smoked lake trout is a huge thing there. I mean, it's as a breakfast item.
Fish for
breakfast. It's like a huge breakfast item in Chicago. Yeah, I was not going to attempt that, and especially since they're saying they're not eating anything out of the Chicago River, but it's definitely connected to Lake Michigan.
Yeah, I can see that. Well, in other news and go-rounds, tomorrow is D-Day for me. I take my trip up to Livingston Gun Dogs to go pick out the new addition to the family, so I'm super excited about that.
And it's a surprise for the kids, right?
That is correct. They
don't know what's going on, or do?
No, they don't have a clue. Tomorrow's my son's birthday, actually, so I'm going to have to kind of break my son's heart because he's going to think it's for him. But no, buddy, this one's for me.
That's cool, man.
Well,
how you do that to my cousin?
Oh man, we'll take a trip to the local ASPCA and go let them pick out something that's not quite as upper end.
He gets a mutt, huh?
Heinz 57, baby.
All right.
But yeah,
man, I can't believe you just said Yankee fish.
But
That cracks me.
Man, anything north of Dallas is all Yankees to me.
Anything north of my latitude is a Yankee to me.
Oh, well, let's see. In other news, the kind of campaign the backcountry hunters and anglers did to get that Black Gap expansion, I saw today that it looks like TPWD is going to purchase that ranch. So that's good. That's 11,000 more acres there in the Big Bend country. That's going to be
16,000.
Oh, is it 16,000?
16,000 more acres, man. Yeah, that's huge. That's a crazy amount of acreage compared to the percentage of acreage we just have in Texas. That's significant for our public land.
Yeah, that's a great addition there, and especially since that's prime bighorn sheep, mule deer, and black bear country out there.
Yep. So hopefully that can help. I'd love to see in my lifetime just a little bit of a comeback for the black bear. I don't know if I've said that on this podcast or not, but I've said it a couple of times recently that I'd just love to see them make a comeback, see them maybe be able to go to East Texas and be hunting in the piney woods over there and just have a black bear stroll through and just watch him, man. That would be so cool to me. You know, I don't even want to hunt them here, per se. I just want to see them in Texas. That sounds so cool to me.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think it'd be absolutely astonishing to be able to be out in deep East Texas, early bow season, sitting in a climber and, have a 300-pound black bear come strolling through underneath your hanger. I think that'd be absolutely awesome.
Yeah, that sounds wild, man. I like it. I would love to see that.
Yeah.
We're on a tangent.
Yeah, we're already running down rabbit trails. So since the last time we've talked, we went and hung some stands. We got 3 stands hung up at our go-to property we like to go to. We've been digging in on Onyx maps quite a bit for our national forest hunt. Been poking around using the different layers on there. I think things are looking pretty good for us this season, with the exception of just how dry it's been.
Man, it was crazy dry. Actually went out today, pulled some trail cameras down. Like you said, we're just over a week out from dove season opener. I don't think many people dove hunt where we got stands set and the cameras were, but that just gets people's minds going that aren't obsessed with it like we are, and gets them wanting to go out into the woods, start exploring. Maybe that's when some people's, scouting starts taking place, is right here at the deadline a month before bow opens. So that's kind of my thought process. And I've already had a trail camera stolen out there. So I went in and pulled my cameras off of my spots. So just to play it safe, they're $20 cameras. Well, I got them on sale for $20, but they've actually been giving some pretty good pictures. I sent you a couple today for a $20 buy. What do you think of the picture quality? I think it's a 7 megapixel camera.
Yeah, I've definitely been impressed with them. That picture of all the bachelor'd up bucks that you got a while back, that thing there, really kind of proved its worth right there. Like, the investment in that camera made it already worthwhile there. And then on top of that, you've actually gotten, nothing huge out there, but you've actually been getting a few off and on daylight pics of a few bucks and some does and some pigs moving through your little pinch point you're hunting. So it looks like you may be in a really, really good spot to get it done.
Yeah. From what the camera's showing me, every day to every other day on that very specific trail on that pinch point, I got does moving through twice a day, either every day or every other day. A few pigs are more sparse, which I like, because the last spot I was at was just littered with them. And I'm getting more bucks on camera than I have in any year past. So that's a good thing. But that was an entire season of hunting out there last year to lead up to getting onto this new little area I'm at. So I just keep moving a couple hundred yards at a time, and hopefully it'll pay off one season. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're definitely putting the picture together out there. I mean, it's like a big puzzle piece. You know, where we originally hung that stand where you started out, it was the Deer Superhighway, or so it appeared to be. It wound up being a daytime hog superhighway and the deer moving through at night. So,
yep.
A couple months into what I'd say probably by the beginning of rifle season, you'd probably already moved your stand, hadn't you?
Yeah, so kind of how it works out there is you can harvest a doe. It's archery only all the way across the board. You can harvest a doe all the way through bow season. As soon as general season starts, you can only hire a legal, so a spike, 1 fork or 13 or greater. So yeah, I moved like the weekend that general started or the weekend after. Right after, it was like I couldn't put it all together to get an opportunity on a doe. And as soon as I moved that stand just a little bit further, of course I could get like ample opportunity at does. And it's like, I think I texted you at one point last year and I was like, man, they know they're safe now. Like they don't care at all. Maybe it's just cause I'm acting different. I don't know. But yeah, it was right at when the does got safe. Was when I moved it, and then it stayed there for the rest of the season. And then this season it got moved to a little bit closer to their bed. So I'm hoping to catch them a little bit earlier in the day, and right before dark too. So
yeah. What's your plan for getting in there to that stand? Because you're in that little grove of trees there, but the way that those trees are oriented, they're oriented almost due east-west with the thicker parts, running north. So I guess that's pretty much you're planning on hunting it on a north wind, cold front days?
So there's a couple of different options. So I still have my lone wolf stand here at the house. So if the wind doesn't match up, I have 2 stands going out there. One's a south wind and one can be a north or let me think about this, or a west wind is what I feel comfortable with out of that stand. So it's like a north and a west and then another stand that's a south.
And is that one
that's kind of what I'm looking at.
And that one that you're for the south wind, is it good for any variation or south, or does it got to be like that that southwest breeze that we normally get?
No, I can get straight south, southwest, southeast, just anything blowing in that general direction. It's blowing. I'm actually hunting pretty close to like a dirt road. So it's going to be blowing towards that road from the south direction to the north. So it'll be blowing my scent right up to that road where they're less likely to be over there. And primarily it looks like they are already coming in from the south to the north anyways, so everything looks like they'll be upwind of me, so it looks like it's playing out good. Same deal there where I'm getting does in all the time. I got a real cool buck on camera that I'm going to call Droopy, and he's definitely on my hit list. He would look like a very typical he's probably 3.5-year-old deer, a very typical rack, 8-point, but the G3s is drooped over. Like it doesn't go up at all. Like it came out like an inch and then it literally turned and grew down like a drop tine, but it's the G3. So he's a cool looking buck. He's definitely on my hit list. I think that'd be an awesome buck to have, man. He's pretty wide too.
Yeah, he's definitely a good deer. I think you might be selling him a little short at 3.5. I think he might be a little closer to 4.5, just by his.
Yeah, I'm just trying to be a bit modest. He has some mass and everything, but just that picture that I have of him is from the back, so I can't see any brisket. I can't see any like neck pat, throat patch.
Yeah.
None of. Can't see too many of the real distinguishing factors where I'm like, especially in the preseason, it's like hard when they're in velvet. You're like,
yeah,
oh man, yeah, I don't know yet. Everybody's skinny and It's hard to tell.
Yeah, everybody's all skinny and slicked up and looking athletic right now. But the one thing I noticed in that picture that you sent me is he does have a set of shoulders on him.
Yeah. Yeah, he actually looked like a much more healthy deer than I got on camera today. I had I had a couple of does. I'll send you the pictures. They got heat rash all up and down the side of their body. It's been so hot and so rough on them, man, and they're starting to show bone. They're real skinny. But luckily, I saw that that most of the masteries are starting to produce right now.
Well, that's good.
I'm seeing little tiny baby acorns. So they're going to have some good food here pretty soon, and I would say they need it.
Yeah, I'm with you. I noticed, I guess it's probably about a month ago when we went out there and hung those stands that like it was getting real dry, and we haven't had but one rain, and that was just a couple of days ago. In 40 days, we haven't had any rain, at least, and everything is crispy. Everything's dried. We had a bunch of, up in the north end of the county, someone set a bunch of fires. They had a bunch of big grass fires. The Crime Stoppers was looking for information for anyone who set those fires yesterday. So it's definitely dry, and definitely anything that's grazing that's not a goat is having a rough go of it right now.
Yeah, man, I wish Crime Stoppers would come over here to my neighborhood and catch the dude that keeps lighting my back 500 on fire over here. We had it happen a couple months ago, maybe 2 months ago. And they got the big trucks out, and then they couldn't reach it with the big trucks. So then they got like the like UTVs and went back in there with tanks and stuff, and were spraying it, and they got it out. And then right when we drove back, we flew in and then drove back from the airport from Chicago. There was a big brush fire back there, a big brush fire, and they had 2 helicopters over there pulling water out of our neighbors' tanks and then dropping it on the brush fire.
Oh, wow. That's
no good. It's like less than a mile from my back.
Man, that's kind of freaky there. That's a little too close to home.
It's real close to home, but no lightning. There's no cars going back there, but there is 4-wheeler traffic back there, dirt bike traffic. So my running theory is it's either somebody back there and flicked a cigarette butt, or it's an ATV riding by and sparks on a rock, catches something on fire. Or who knows, man?
Yeah, who knows? I mean,
exhaust on grass.
Yeah, because we went back there. Is this the same place where we went back and shot when we went to Full Draw?
Yeah, so we went directly behind my house, but if you were looking out my back gate and then kind of put your right hand at a 45-degree angle, it was off that way, about 3/4 of a mile.
Okay, so back towards the north.
Yep.
Yeah, there's definitely nothing really back there at all.
Yeah, and with no lightning, there's no houses over there. Yeah, it was just kind of a mystery. It's like there has to be some kind of like human factor that led to that. But yeah, I just wish they'd send some Crime Stoppers over here, because 2 in 2 months is too many.
Yeah, for darn sure, especially with as dry it is, especially if it's on a high wind day. That can be on your back door way too fast. Well, so speaking of Full Draw.
Yeah, luckily we had...
Go ahead.
I was going to say, look, we had a wind out of the south, so it was pushing the other direction. So I felt pretty good about that. But yeah, go ahead, man.
Yeah, so Full Draw, man, that was a really good time. We ran into the guys from the Stormwater Creek podcast, and the really cool thing about that was all the BHA guys, it seemed like, from across the state, pretty much all met up there at Archery Country there in Austin, and that was a really good time there.
Yeah, man, that was really fun. Like you said, it was cool to actually put a face to all the people up in DFW, out towards Houston. Everybody just kind of like met in the central, and San Antonio, and everybody's kind of centralized right in the middle in Austin. So I think Austin was a great place to have the other one in Texas, aside from DFW, because it got to pull a bunch of major cities kind of together. and everybody meet up, man. And it was good to put faces with names online. Actually get to meet and talk to some people that, you know, we've had full blown conversations with and never got to actually meet in person. So yeah, it was good.
Yeah, it was definitely kind of like, in my opinion, kind of like the social event of the year. It was definitely, you know, picture a good sized DU banquet, but just like really small and really intimate, where everyone was like hyper focused all on the same thing, which was super awesome. You know, and everyone there was, you know, Jared Kennedy spoke about, you know, the Black Gap expansion, and I know quite a few people signed up for BHA there to get in for that Yeti drawing that's happening when the Filson Storyteller event happens in November. I can't remember when that one is.
Sounds about right, man. I couldn't tell you though. But yeah, it was good. I'm glad Jared Kennedy spoke about that. I think a couple of people, I was hearing some like chitter chatter, you know, walking by conversation saying, "Oh yeah, I didn't know like that was going on, but yeah, I'm gonna look it up or whatever." But the main thing, I really felt at home there. I really felt like, aside from all other banquets, you know, CCA, DU, Delta, everybody is so connected at BHA, and I have a feeling it's more like, it feels more like a family, you know. It feels more like we know our purpose, we know our cause, and we know that almost everyone is taking like strides to reach out to somebody and do the right thing hunting wise, whether that's take somebody hunting or, you know, reach out to you know, the congressman or whatever.
Yeah, definitely. I saw like a whole lot of people out there, but like, yeah, I've never hunted public land before, and like I'm kind of like excited and jazzed about that. I had a couple people ask me, because I gave away a couple of the new Cast Blast Grill Chill hats. Jared invited me up there to kind of speak about the podcast for a minute and do a t-shirt cannon giveaway for the hats. And I had a couple guys come up and ask me, he's like, "There's public land in Texas you can hunt?" I was like, "Yeah, man." I was like, "We actually just got done doing a series of podcasts on it." I was like, "Go check them out." I was like, "If you have any questions, look me up on Facebook, you know, and I'll help you out any way I can."
Yeah, absolutely, man. And it really did surprise me, because I know like the archery shop that it was held at Archery Country, they were advertising full draw as well. So I know that they did get some pull in from that side of it to the full draw film tour. So it was cool to get some people that just wanted to come for full draw, don't know about BHA, to realize that this is a BHA event, and then kind of like start putting the puzzle pieces together of what BHA is, what they're doing. And man, it was cool, and everybody was really friendly, and I really did feel at home there. I wish we could do it more often. I really do, with a lot of the same group of guys and gals.
Yeah,
that would be a blast.
Yeah, like you said, family. That's really like kind of the best way I can describe it. Like, there were so many guys that, you know, either I've met, you know, on a hike to hunt, you know, one time, or have talked to in the Facebook group multiple times, you know, and had long drawn out conversations, you know, about hunting this, hunting that, boots, gear, whatever. But it seemed like everybody there was family. Like, between everyone giving each other shit for, you know, just cracking jokes with each other. But I mean, you could walk up to any conversation at any point in time of the night, and like, you instantly were just drawn into the conversation, and not just sitting there listening, but you were like drawn into the conversation, and everybody was swapping tactics and talking strategies and everything else. I mean, that's where we kind of, you know, I would say really got the ball rolling hard on the next year's elk trip. Because since then, it's been kind of elk in our group text message.
Yeah. So Tobin, he's been mentioned on the podcast before, and I really would like to have him on as a guest, and I'm sure that'll happen. Tobin had messaged me and said, "Hey, there's a guy. He's going to meet up with you. I'm going to give him your phone number, and we're talking about a Colorado Elk trip in 19." So I'm like, "All right, cool." Yeah, just have him text me. So we met up with him there, him and his little brother, and man, it was awesome. It was cool to just be able to, just meet somebody for the first time and have so much to talk about. And then, you're instantly like, yeah, he's a good guy. We're interested in the same stuff. Like, let's all go up to Colorado together. It's weird how hunting kind of brings us all together like that. Yeah, it's pretty cool, man. I'm more and more impressed with this group of guys, the guys that kind of are attracted to BHA. And, yeah, I'm more interested in that than anything right now, I think.
I'm kind of right there with you. Like, it's, I'm to the point now that probably even if I could afford a big fancy smancy deer lease, yeah, I'd probably still out there and go grocery shopping. But there's something about the challenge of, putting your stand on your back and hiking in, a couple miles, even here in Texas, and getting in there and figuring the deer out, figuring out the ducks, figuring out whatever the case may be. It's, at the end of the day, it's more satisfying, I feel like, to do it all yourself and to do it the hard way.
Absolutely. Yeah, man, it's very rewarding. And I actually just had this conversation. I asked a buddy if he had any hitless bucks on his deer lease this year. And he said, no, not really. I've had a few show up. Sent me some trail cam pictures. And I was like, he's like, there's plenty of hogs and plenty of does though. So, and he's like, he pays under $1,000 a year. So, I think he said it was like 150 or 200 acres or something like that. And I'm like, dude, I'm actually looking for something like that for my dad and myself. My dad's mainly a rifle hunter, or he is a rifle hunter only, really, unless we're wing shooting. And, we just want to go have a place that we can go spend some time together, hunt together, and be able to both get out there. Because all this public land opportunity we have in this state, I wish there was a little bit more places that he could come with me, since he doesn't participate in archery. We got to make a 3.5 hour haul out to East Texas to hit up, the national forest, for us to be able to hunt together, public land. So that kind of makes it hard, and I really wish we could hunt a lot more.
Yeah, I feel you there. That's how come I'm grooming my children now. You helped out, Thomas's last birthday and got him that bow, and he likes to shoot it. But like, I think by next season I'm gonna step him up to one of those youth adjustable compounds and go ahead and let him start shooting with me in the evenings. By the way, I've got to buy more arrows.
Man.
That's just a side note.
I'm buying a fletching jig. Jig. Like, it's in my cart on Amazon, and all the fletchings and the glue and everything. And yeah.
You getting you a Bitzenberger?
It's a slip. No, I'm gonna get the it's like an easy fletch or something like that. It's the one that our tree shop actually uses to fletch my arrows. Okay. So I was like, all right, if they're using it, I can use it. It's fine.
Cool. Yeah, I let my neighbor shoot the bow the other day, and I have an arrow that's now sticking through 3/4 inch plywood as in my backstop. That one's my fault. I Robin Hooded an arrow. I had a carbon arrow blow up shooting while I was there shooting with you at your place, and I had another arrow blow up just going into the target. So I still have half a dozen, but those were my best half a dozen, and they already have broadheads on them. So I think I'm just going to go pick me up another dozen of these and then shoot the half dozen I have with the half dozen or dozen, and pick out the best ones out of those, and then go from there again.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna do the same. I gotta pick up another dozen before season starts. I'm just kind of limping along with these. I'm robbing parts and pieces at one. I'm robbing, nocks and inserts and putting them in another one. And and then refletching all the time. I just got a couple of refletched a couple of days ago, and I've already killed 2/3 of that.
Yeah, so. and you're putting a new whispers in your whisper biscuit, so you got to retune your whole bow, huh? That's what you said in our group text today.
All right, yes. So if you think about it, arrow passes through there, it gets worn out, then your arrow starts drifting downward in the rest, right?
Uh-huh.
So as it drifts downwards, you're retuning back up. So then you're basically untuning it when you put. So you've been chasing the tune as it wears downward.
Yeah.
So you're moving your sight or your rest rather, adjusting it so you keep your center shot. You put new stuff on it, and now it's way too high, and you got to tune back down. It's like, man, this is a pain in the butt. But I have no other complaints about that little $30, however much it costs, rest, man. I have absolutely zero complaints except that it's annoying that I have to keep tuning it.
Yeah.
But that can be a big deal breaker for sure for a lot of people.
Yeah,
but,
I could definitely see that. Which is something I've never thought about. In my previously archery experience, I've never shot enough. I probably never shot enough to wear out the whisker biscuit on the first bow I owned.
Yeah.
But
yeah, man.
But
I'm just trying to learn as much as I can about all this. I know I've said stupid stuff about archery that I thought I was right on in the past on this podcast, and it's like I'm ever changing, ever evolving creature when it comes to archery.
Yeah, well, I mean, at least you're bright enough to know that, hey, I don't know everything. Let me go learn something, and let's try that. Okay, it worked. It didn't. Let's move on, because I'll be the first one to say that I don't know near enough about archery. I'm a okay shot. I'm not a great shot, but I'm also smart enough to know that I'm not going to take a shot at an animal past 30.
Yeah, man. That's a big thing I'm looking at this year is my effective range, and it is definitely extended from what it has been in the past. So I'm happy about that. I've improved a lot just from the amount of practice that I put in. I really have improved a lot, and like it makes it fun to go shoot your bow when you know you're gonna shoot pretty good.
Yeah, I can.
It's like, oh, let's see if I can. So you're like, all right, yeah, I can hit that at 20. Yeah, I can hit that at 30. Well, let's change it up. Let's put some angles in it, and let's take away the rangefinder, and let's put it at this weird, awkward, halfway sticking out thing, and now let's shoot it out of the balcony window, and now what happens?
Yeah.
And, start fiddling with stuff.
Definitely, yeah. So I figured out why when I was out there at your place, why I couldn't hit worth a damn. My damn peep came untied, and it was riding around up and down all over the place in there. I noticed it as soon as I got home to go shoot. I was like, I don't shoot this bad. There's something wrong with my bow, and so I started going over it from front to back. And then when I got to the back, I started checking the strings. I started at the ends checking the serving, and then when I got to the knock point, I noticed the serving was getting a little worn on the knock. I was like, well, I probably need to change that here soon. And then I looked at the peep, and I had like 6 inches of that green and black neon thread hanging off that they used to tie in my peep. I was like, well, that'll do it.
So it was just rotating on you?
No, it was just sliding up the bowstring.
Oh, yeah.
Remember how that morning, how like the bottom was falling out of the shot, and like I was shooting 10 yards short on everything? Well, that's why. Because I wasn't, by the time I was lining up my...
As the day...
it just kept creeping further and further and further up in there. By the time I tied it back in, it was 3 arrows touching at 20, and then stepping back out to 30. 2 out of the 3 arrows touching, and the 1 arrow a thumb's distance away. And that's me. That's not the bow.
Yeah.
Well, so...
Yeah, man, it's...
So you been taking your target back there anymore and doing any more of that 50, 60 yard shots?
No, I went on vacation and got back, was super busy at work, and today was my first like kind of day where I didn't have something going on I needed to catch up on, and I got a half day off, so I went to the woods, did a little fishing, caught one small bass and 4 dang turtles, man.
You could have made
God, I've
turtle
never caught
soup.
so many turtles in my life. Yeah, and yeah, I could have, yeah. But yeah, man, I also wanted to bring up, I did a poll in one of the Facebook groups that we're on, and I just thought it was interesting. So I just got curious, and I was like, I wonder, this being Texas, baiting legal, and the group I was doing it at's in East Texas, so it's like, it's very, a lot of private land out there. It seems like it's more rural. So more people have access to land, and more people are hunting their private land or own a smaller parcel. So I just did. Do you choose to bait or no bait method on the property you hunt whitetail? And let's see, I have 64 votes for bait and 4 votes for no bait. And then 2 people have added in their own little vote things. One person added in multiple baits, and there are 8 votes for multiple baits. And then one person added, I hunt public land and can't bait, but I do bait on private land, and he voted for his creation.
That's probably
so that has one vote.
That's probably where I would fall in, but I would never hunt the bait. Like, I would put out bait, but there's no way I would put a stand over bait now. Like, if I had, 20, 30 acres and I had someplace where I wanted, like, I'd probably put a feeder in my backyard just so I could watch the deer and keep the does around. But I can guarantee you I'm still going to be hunting archery and hanging up a tree climber or a lean-to or a tree stand of some kind, somewhere on the edge, on a travel corridor, on a pinch point, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, you may catch me hunting over a feeder if I had my own land, but it's mostly going to be grocery shopping. But I know to kill big bucks, you gotta change it up, man. They're not going to go to the feeder. They're not stupid. If you got low fence, free range bucks, like, they are not dumb. They're going to watch their does from inside that timber, watching that feeder.
Yeah,
and making sure their does aren't running off on them. And then when they go back in the timber, he's right there behind them. So, I'd still be hunting my bucks, like I am now on private land. Yeah. But I think I'd probably take a few does and definitely some hogs from underneath the feeder.
Oh yeah.
I've always thrown around this idea in my head as well of how much we're feeding into the hog issue by feeding corn. Just like, how much is that increasing their population by us making them fat and happy all the time? People feeding protein, people getting in, the hogs getting into the protein, then just carbs on carbs on carbs on sugar with corn. We're definitely feeding them, and, people are doing hog wire and stuff, rings around their feeders, and putting big money into keeping the hogs out, and then big money into dumping more corn on the ground, and then setting a ring trap that drops from a tree down to try and catch them. It's like, I don't know how much that's playing a part of it,
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. Is like, I don't think that's really so much of an issue. Like, a hog's gonna find something to eat. I mean, look at some of the public we hunt. There's nobody within a couple miles, on some of those places putting out any corn. But there's plenty of hogs there, and they're definitely eating something. So that's really not so much the issue. But is where I think the issue is that, like, so many of these people, who claim that their land's being, tore up by hogs and the hogs all need to go, this, that, and the other. If you were to ask that guy, hey, can I come, you say you got a hog problem. Well, let me come, the guys that run them with dogs, let me come, run my dogs out here. The guys that hunt them at night with thermals, the guys that, hunt them archery, guys that hunt them rifle, let these guys come, thin out the population. Because I know a lot of people whose deer leases had a really bad problem with pigs, coming over, knocking over feeders, that whole 9 yards, that whole, East Texas problem with the pigs. But when the lease manager implemented a rule, he said, I don't care if that 180-inch, 12-point standing out there, you see a pig, you shoot that pig. He goes, and if, you don't shoot the pig, you're off the lease. Well, that lease doesn't have a pig problem anymore. So a lot of these guys, you go to ask them like, hey, let me thin out your pig population. Oh, well, you can come out and shoot 2 for $250. Well, then that guy doesn't have a pig problem. That guy has that guy wants to make money off of his pigs and claim he has a pig problem.
Yeah. And we talked about this with Dustin when he was on the podcast.
Yeah, we did.
And we had that conversation of, if somebody really was having an issue, they wouldn't be charging a single thing for you to come out and hunt. They would definitely not charge anything to have somebody come out and run dogs or traps or whatever. But it is a lucrative industry, and it's definitely a way to cash in on something that's not really yours.
Well, and I mean, I don't mind the farmer trying to make money. It's his land and the pigs are on his land. If he wants to charge for hunts, fine, charge for hunts.
No, but I'm saying if you say you have a problem and then are charging for hunts,
then you don't have a problem.
You don't have a problem. You're just greedy.
Yeah, you can't be running around saying that you have a problem and charging for hunts. If you really had a problem, you'd be saying, I need 10 hunters, 20 hunters, someone that could be out here every, all right, there's 30 days in a month. Give me 10 hunters who can be out here, 2 days a month apiece. Do a little background check on them, make sure, they're not somebody that's going to come in and cause more problems than the pigs are. But shoot, there's plenty of guys, like me, like you, that are, good, ethical, moral hunters, that would help lend the guy, you need help, stretching some gap wire or feeding cows or moving cows from pasture or, whatever the heck you need done, for a little bit of hunting access. Shoot, I'd gladly, put in a good couple weekends worth of, good, honest, hard, sun up to sundown labor.
Shoot, I'd do it for meat, man.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
cheap labor.
Exactly.
Speaking of this whole kind of thing, the county south of me just implemented a $5 a tail bounty on hogs.
That's there in Comal County. So anyone around New Braunfels?
Caldwell.
Oh, Caldwell did it too? Comal County did as well.
Oh, well, that's good. Yeah, so Caldwell passed it 2-3 months ago. Something like that. But it has to be taken on that county's property, and I don't know how you prove any of that. But yeah, so that's pretty cool, man. I've been kind of wondering about that for a while, of why isn't there any bounty on this,
Yeah,
but,
I think a bounty program would definitely benefit the state, $3, $5 a tail, and I can definitely foresee there's a lot of guys out there that can make money for beer, bullets, and gas, that I know a lot of guys that kill a lot of pigs.
Absolutely, man. And I mean, $5 adds up quick, especially on hogs.
Oh yeah, shoot, yeah. I mean, especially those guys running suppressors and night vision and all that stuff. I mean, it's nothing for them to take out a 25 pig sounder, just as quick as, they can pull the trigger.
Yeah. Well, we've been doing some dove scouting too.
Yeah, I was actually gonna see did you see any doves today while you were out fishing?
I saw like a dozen. Does that count?
Yeah, I mean, it's more than zero. I haven't. I've actually just in the past 2 days finally starting to see good numbers sitting on the power lines and hitting up the goat weed, and different places I've been driving around. Finally starting to actually see some decent numbers.
Yeah, out there where we go whitetail hunt, we almost never see like crazy numbers of doves out there anyways. It's not too attractive to them. They got so much other ag around that it's like they'd rather hang out somewhere else.
Yeah, they don't want to hang out in the woods. They want to hang out in that Milo field that's 10 miles down the road.
Yeah, they'll come roost over there and stuff. There's lots of good roost trees and stuff. But yeah, they don't really hang out. Plus, I was driving back home by the time it was prime fly time. But I definitely scouted up our spot for opening day, and I called you pretty excited when I pulled up there. It was about 5:36 p.m. Pulled up, and never been out to this side of this public land, and we've always driven by it on the other side, and pulled up. Sunflowers, man, sunflowers. And they were swarming and hitting it hard. So anybody that's got sunflowers down and around this area, definitely, they were smacking them.
Yeah, I think that's definitely the dove's preferred food choice. So I told Thomas about that, and so he's super excited that he's going to get to come out and, throw some lead up in the air with that 20 gauge of his. So I'm excited for him. He's actually amped and ready to go. So, and I know he'll actually be, ready to go and actually pull the trigger. And if it's like the past, whenever we found, patches of sunflower on public, it ought to be a good hunt.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, after seeing what I saw, unless they just go in and demolish that field, which is a possibility, still got a little bit over a week, and it wasn't a gigantic field, but yeah, then we're going to have a good hunt if they don't totally wipe that field out, because I don't know how long they've been hitting it.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it should be a good time. I got one of those little, I got both of us one of those little carts from Academy, the little collapsible wagons.
Yep.
And so I'm definitely going to be bringing my shotgun, a small cooler, and, shells and a couple of mojos and some stuff like that's going to go in there, and I'm dragging it out. So no more carrying a bunch of crap dove hunting, man.
Yeah.
Because we can't drive out under a big shade tree and park and shoot off the tailgate. Like, that's the next best thing.
Yeah, I'm definitely doing the same thing, throwing the dove stools in there, especially since I'm going to have my shotgun, Thomas's shotgun, a bunch of shotguns. I was actually watching Circle Star's video this evening. Apparently, Academy dropped the ball, and they didn't buy any Rio high brass this year. Because when I was in there the other day, they didn't have any because I was going to pick up a case.
Yeah, and you were just, well, that's weird, but maybe it just hadn't come in yet.
Well, that's what the guy told me. He was like, well, maybe it hadn't come in yet. So I went down there and I talked to Jake. I'd already mentioned it to him. I was like, hey, I need a case of high brass.
High brass sixes?
High brass 7.5 Rios. I mean, he has sixes too. I do like those high brass sixes. You can get.
I know you do. So that's why I was asking.
You can get them high flying birds pretty good with them high brass sixes. They a bird 35 yards, 40 yards up in the air at a full clip does not stand a chance.
Dude, yeah, they smack the crap out of dove.
Yeah, they do.
It's like, if it's not 35, 40 yards away, like, I almost won't shoot at it with sixes.
Yeah, that's how come I'm getting the 7.5s this year.
Yeah, that's probably a good deal, man.
But yeah, so I'm picking up a case of those, and then I'm also going to pick up. Kent came out with a new cartridge. They call it Dove Steel. They are 2 3/4 inch high brass number 6 steel. But I'm not getting that. I saw that advertised earlier this summer that they were going to come out with a dove load. Well, and I didn't know. I didn't know that it was going to be steel, but I should have assumed. Well, they also have 2 lead loads. They have like a basic low brass load, and they have a high brass dove lead load as well. But they also came up with a steel load. But tell me, a 1,500 feet per second, 2 3/4 inch, number 6. That's the perfect teal load.
Yeah, but it's, man, I kind of like 4. But anyways, yeah, I don't know.
Teal are so small, and for early teal season, they have no thick, heavy plumage on them. I shot that Kent teal steel. It's a number 5. It's a 3 inch, but it's still 1,500 feet per second. But as best I can tell, a case of this, dove steel is like somewhere between 89 and 109 a case. So yeah, that's my teal load for this year.
Yeah, man. I mean, and okay, it's definitely a good teal size load. I prefer 4, but it's definitely a good teal size load. It's steel, so definitely, even if you wanted to, you could hunt dove straight up over a lake.
Yeah, okay, stop and think about how many times we've been out at, our upland dove hunt that we like to go to, that early in the morning we'll see teal.
Yeah, exactly. And so if you're already hunting with it, or if you're early teal hunting after the 15th of September and a dove so happens to fly by, it's not unreasonable to shoot at said dove.
Yeah, with that. So that's kind of my thinking. And if it's...
Yeah. This is a steel load, number 6s, so you're borderline in between, like good for teal. Maybe you'll explode this dove if it gets too close, but either way, it's legal.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a screaming load. I think it's like 1,450 feet per second. So it definitely has some knockdown power. So yeah, I'm going to pick up a case of those and, just try them out. Just because those early teal hunts on the coast can get kind of hot and hectic in a big hurry. So, and I plan on taking Thomas down there to go early teal hunting this year and the big ducks. So yeah, it ought to be a real blast.
I'm not on call. I'm not on call for the teal opener, and I'm trying to keep it open to where I can do something teal related since I missed it last year. And I'm hoping I can go down to the coast and do that.
Yeah, you definitely need to make that run because it's such a blast, man. It will spoil you.
Yeah, so that's what I'm trying to keep it open. There's nothing on my calendar yet, but just the nature of this job and everything that's going on right now, I'm hoping it stays open.
Yeah,
because I want to get down to the coast and do that since I haven't done that before down there.
Yeah, you definitely need to get down there and do it. I also talked to TPWD about getting TX numbers for my canoe. It's not going to be as hard as I thought it was. I just need to take them a rubbing of the Coast Guard plate in it, the serial number and stuff, or a picture of it, or both, and they'll just issue me TX numbers since it's so old.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I took a rubbing and then, tell them what motor I'm going to put on it, and then took it into the main office and with my, my title for it. And that's it.
Yeah, but see,
you didn't have a title.
Yeah, I don't have a title. I don't have a bill of sale. I don't have anything. I've had it forever. So,
I know they can do quick title stuff, but I don't know what kind of paperwork you need to. It's like $60, and then they can make it right then and there. I don't know what you need bill of sale wise or what to get that.
I don't need anything. The lady, all she said since it's a canoe and it's older than 10 or 15 years old, whatever, the amount of time she said it was, she said all she needed was either a picture or a rubbing of the serial number plate, and she would actually generate a title for it, and then it would come in the mail, but I'd get my TX numbers right then.
Oh, that's sweet, because that was what I was going to say, is it'd be nice to have a title if you ever want to go and sell it, which I don't see you want to do really, but just if it ever came up, that would make it a whole heck of a lot easier to sell, especially if somebody wanted to put a little motor on it.
Yeah, and since it'll already have TX numbers and everything else. So yeah, I'm definitely looking into that, and now I'm looking at trolling motors and stuff. And then the other thing I did is I was poking around on the internet. I think with my tax return this year, I think I'm buying a 15-foot semi-V with a trailer and I can't remember the horsepower mud motor, but I priced it out all online to where I can do the whole package for a little under $5,500. And the motor,
that's pretty good.
And we're not talking a long tail mud motor. This is it's a mud motor. It just doesn't have reverse. It's just a single gear, but I think it's a 22 horse or a 23 horsepower, which is nice because it will make it still legal to run on the WMAs, or not the WMAs, but the NWRs, provided I'm running less than a 9-inch prop.
Yeah. Yeah, sweet, man. Yep. I was looking at somebody had one the other day, no motor, no anything, but it was gutted out, and it was it was a 1548, but it was like the waterfowl style where it has the bench seats on the side on the gunnels instead of
Yeah, the gun box and stuff. Yep, that's the way this one was.
yeah, and he was selling it bare for like $2,800, and I was like, man, I should just go get it. And then I was like, kept reading, and I was like, oh, no trailer. I was like, no, I don't want to hassle with all that.
No, you can buy that boat brand new from Academy, all weld construction. The boat brand new is like $2,600.
Oh yeah, so I don't know what he was thinking. He was trying to make a guess.
Yeah, trying to make $1.
I think he had like some light bars and crap in it, but it wasn't nothing worth any money.
Yeah, that stuff's cheap.
Yeah, man. But you got anything else going on before we get into dove for 2 weeks and the teal starts right up?
Man, I've got about 4 dozen decoys laid out in the garage and all my paint and stuff laid out. I've just been, every time I go to get in there to do it, it's just too darn hot and I start dripping sweat, and I don't want to drip the sweat on those paint. I've got a whole mess load of catfish jugs that are already all rigged up with a rebar and everything that are already ready to go. I mean, I'm just sitting here just basically counting the days now. It's finally upon us. The 2018-2019 Texas hunting season it's so close I can taste it.
I know, man. It's this is the worst part of the however many months we wait for it. It's the last week.
Yeah, definitely. And it doesn't help that, like, tomorrow morning, wake up early, haul butt up to North Texas, go, get my newest hunting buddy, and now I've got a whole year to train her before next dove season. So I'm really excited the fact that I should have a dog that's, if not ready by dove, will definitely be ready to hunt, opening day of big duck next year.
Yeah, man. And the other good thing about like having one this time of year is throughout this early training process, well, you'll be able to stock up this season on ducks to train with for your dog. I know I got some and you got some stashed away in the freezer for dog purposes. You'll be able to really, really stock up on some training.
Yeah, that's definitely what I'm going to do. I was reading online, and this is actually like the most ingenious idea ever. Whenever you go to breast out your ducks, generally, you just get what you want off of it. You take your breasts, or I realize you pluck a lot of ducks. I don't. I just 99.9% of the time just breast them out, just because time, efficiency, moving on, and hunting down the coast. I shoot a lot of divers and stuff, so I'm not trying to do a whole redhead on the smoker. That just doesn't sound very appealing.
This is a judgment-free zone. You're free to do whatever you wish.
Yeah, but is what a lot of guys do is they'll actually take them and they'll close that breast cavity back up, and then electrical tape the wings to it, down around the body cavity, and then you can use that duck there. Yeah. And it's a clean bird, so it won't count against your bag limit and possession limit.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, exactly. I always just go ahead and breast them out anyway. So, like, I'll pull them out of the freezer, and I don't like throwing, like, a super frozen brick duck because, like, I'm bound to, like, snap a neck or something off of it. I don't know. I always just kind of, like, let it set for a while, and then, like, that's kind of a cool idea because it also makes it, like, a little more bumpery,
Yeah, it makes it a little
like
smaller.
A little bit, like, bump.
Yep, I'm with you there, and then I think that's a great idea. And then, like, any ducks that I don't save to do that, I'm going to clip all the wings so I can attach them to bumpers. And what's nice about the different places I hunt, I think any given year I'll kill 6-7 different species. So,
I'll kill exactly.
Green wings, blue wings, teal, spoonies, redheads, ringnecks,
mallard, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, any given year, gonna kill at least 5 different species, guaranteed.
At least, yeah, at least.
So,
yeah, the only thing we didn't touch on, we touched on how dry it was, but speaking of ducks, our little duck holes that we like to smack them down on are bone dry, man. I was telling you before we started this that we got like another week before they're all completely bone dry. So that's disheartening. We need some rain, people. Do a rain dance, do whatever kind of rain prayer you need to do, but please send it our way. We need it desperately.
Yeah, the whole state pretty much. Pray for rain, definitely for sure. I know all the farmers appreciate it, and I know all the duck hunters would appreciate it. I seen on Facebook a bunch of different hunting clubs are already turned their pumps on in the past couple weeks, and I mean, I could just imagine what kind of water pumping bill they're going to have this year. I also saw LCRA wasn't going to give any water to the duck clubs this year, so that means they're going to have to pump from wells rather than pull from the river and the canals.
Yeah, going and trying to really sucker up to some rice farmers.
Well, I mean, they're all hunting rice anyway, but the thing is they won't let them reflood the rice after it's harvested. So it'll just wind up going dry real quick. So they're going to have to pump water rather than buying acre feet of water from LCRA off the canals. It's way cheaper that way when you only got to pump it up and out of the canal versus,
exactly.
versus, out of the ground.
Yep. I agree, man. You got any concluders or?
Man, I want everyone to get out there and be safe this dove season. Get out there, go enjoy it, man. There's for $48 you can get your Texas Public Lands book. There is a bunch of spots to go dove hunting there. If you're someone who hasn't dove hunted in a few years and keeps thinking that, paying $75 for a day lease just seems ridiculous, or $250 or $300 for a season lease to just go shoot doves is entirely too high, well, the state of Texas takes care of a lot of that for you, and there's a good many thousands of acres from the Panhandle all the way down to the Rio Grande River, all the way over to Sabine Lake, all the way to El Paso. There is public land that's available for you to go dove hunt, and go do it. Go try and shoot you some little chi-chi birds, and make everybody's favorite first meal of hunting season. Get you your jalapenos, your cream cheese, your bacon, and your dove breast. Wrap them up, throw them on the grill, and eat good.
Let me stop you right there, because that was my concluder, and you just stole it. But I also have a awesome trick that I learned when I made some, that I stocked up on jalapenos, gutted them, split them in half, threw them all in a gallon Ziploc, and then froze them. And then actually it broke down some of that like super freshness of the jalapeno. So when I put them back on the grill, it was like eating them like leftovers already for the first round. And I like the leftover ones better than I do the very fresh ones.
Those ones that...
So if anybody's like me, throw them in the freezer first, and then make your round of doves. So you could go buy your jalapenos, gut them, get them ready for opening day, and have them already ready to go. You just got to fill them with cream cheese and dove and wrap them.
Okay, and I'm going to give everybody my cream cheese trick. Take you a 1 gallon or a quart-sized heavy-duty zip top bag, Ziploc. I like the HEB brand ones with the pre-made slider in them. And take your cream cheese that morning when you get ready to go out hunting, and just throw it on your counter and let it get it all nice and soft while you're out hunting. And when you come back that afternoon, that cream cheese will be real soft. Take it and throw, your cream cheese into that Ziploc bag and pack it all down and take all the air out of it, but push it all down to one corner. And then take you a pair of scissors and cut the corner off of that bag like a pastry bag or a piping bag. And now you've got pre-softened cream cheese in a bag, where now you're not sitting there fighting with a spoon or a knife trying to cram it into the jalapeno. You can just take that bag and just squeeze it straight into the jalapeno. It works so much better. It's so much faster.
Last tip on jalapeno poppers, I swear. Last tip. Thin cut bacon. always.
Always thin cut bacon.
If you're gonna completely wrap it, thin cut bacon. If you're just gonna do a sliver on top and stick it with a toothpick, you can do thick. That's okay.
Yeah, but if you want that whole thing encased in bacon, the cheapest, thinnest bacon you can. Like, you want to be able to read the newspaper through it. Because if not...
Exactly. You want to be able to pull it. It looks like cheesecloth or something, you know?
Exactly. Because if not, the bacon won't cook. The dove will be overcooked. The cream cheese will all run out. It's just not any good. Me and Trevor may have made a few 100,000 poppers in our day. We've got it kind of down to a system.
I know, dude. We didn't plan on this at all, but this is like, we're going super detailed on dove poppers. Well, I think we're just excited.
Oh man, I'm ready for some. I found that last package of dove that I thought maybe you'd stole it or something, because I had 18 dove breasts left. Yeah. I was like, man, where the heck them things go? And when I was doing my freezer cleaning, I found it, and I made some that were just wrapped in thin bacon and put it on the grill. And man, I was like, oh, come on. Like, that right there was like, it needs to be dove season like tomorrow.
See what kind of abuse I go through. People getting blamed for stealing year-old dove breasts out of his freezer 2 hours from my house.
I thought you stole it when you were here hunting with me. I thought you'd seen it in there. It was like, well, he ain't ate this yet. This is like 2 months old. I'll take this with me.
Well, shoot. This back strap he hasn't eaten yet. I took his chest yesterday.
I do have a little back strap left. I'll bring you some opening day.
Oh, man.
I told you I hoard that stuff.
Okay, dude, I will bring the jet boil and we will make backstrap and eggs in the dove field opening morning. That sounds awesome.
Done. Well, alrighty, everybody. Like I said, get out there, be safe,
awesome,
enjoy your public lands. And now I'm going to go to bed and dream about fried eggs and backstrap. Delicious. Join BHA. See y'all guys later. Bye.